So on KMFM, I'm joined in the studio by Grace Carter.
Hello. Hi, how are you?
I'm very good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm good.
So you're based in Brighton, is that right?
I was brought up in Brighton until I was 18, and then I moved back to London a couple of years ago, yeah.
Well, how do you find kind of transit? Because I suppose I love Brighton. It's probably one of my favourite places to go, especially being here in Kent. It's like an hour down the road.
Yeah.
How's the transition from Brighton to London?
I mean, I absolutely love Brighton. All my friends are there, and my mum's there. But I lived in London till I was 9 years old. So I've always kind of felt like London is a partly home as well. So I don't know, it's very different. Like, you can't go to the beach and walk along the seafront, but
True.
I live near some nice canals, so I can walk along the canals. So
yeah. But you've got no sand or anything.
Yeah, no, you don't get sand in Brighton.
Yeah. Oh, what is it? A stony beach?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Brighton.
Yeah, sorry, Brighton.
You've gone downhill for me.
Yeah, no, it's great, but yeah, I miss my mum all the time. That's probably the main thing.
Is this your first time in Kent?
It's Bexley in Kent.
Is Bexley in Kent? It's kind of in. I think.
Okay,
yeah,
I've been to Kent before.
Okay, we'll take it, and then we take you to. I mean, our studios look quite nice, but it's like you have to go past a McDonald's, and we're in the middle of like an industrial estate.
I love McDonald's. Don't even say that word to me.
Every time somebody comes in here for an interview, they're like, "Oh, can we go to McDonald's after?"
Oh no, don't. Me and my band are but I'm basically bad, and I influence my band to get McDonald's all the time when we're on tour. It's just not good.
What's your dream McDonald's order?
Oh my god!
You have unlimited money. Obviously, you're eating until you're full, but you can have whatever you want. Doesn't have to be seasonal.
I always over order, so probably like 20 nugs. I won't eat them all to myself. I'll share them, obviously, because sharing is a nice thing to do.
It's a share box.
Exactly. And maybe some selects, a Big Mac and some chips and a Coca-Cola. I know, it's just quite a lot of food though.
Yeah, but then we're saying you're sharing them.
Yeah, but I feel like if I'm going to do that, I also need to get into the gym as well.
Yeah, that's what I remember whenever this is awful, I shouldn't be sharing this, but whenever I used to drive back, I went to uni in Portsmouth.
Okay.
And on the way back to when I used to drive home, it was like a 2-hour journey, and we'd always go past a McDonald's. So I'd go past this McDonald's, and I am so ashamed of this. I'd order a 20 nugget share box, and I'd literally put it on the passenger seat. I'd park up, I'd open 4 little things.
Were you driving on your own?
I was driving on my own. I'd open 4 little things of sauce, and then this whole journey I'll be like, take one there, and then obviously because I'm driving, I was like, I'd be blindly dipping
into random
which
sauces.
Is great because you'll have a surprise sauce.
I love that.
So next time you're on, to be fair, you're in the middle of a radio tour at the moment.
Yeah, exactly.
But then I suppose, are you driving yourself or are you getting driven?
I cannot drive.
Okay.
So getting driven, but Steph might drop us by a McDonald's.
and then when you can drive, the nugget long journey.
I don't think I'm ever going to drive.
Does it put you off? Or?
I think I'll just go to too many drive-thrus, to be honest.
Yeah.
No, I just nah.
I suppose in London you don't really need to drive.
Yeah, you don't need to. You don't need to. I also I just am easily distracted, so I just don't think it's a vibe, really. Don't think it's safe.
No. Okay, I'll be worried when I see something.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially
when you see I pass my
safe.
test.
I'll be like, okay, let's stay away from the road.
Yeah.
Right, let's talk about music. Your new EP is Saving Grace, out now. I keep getting it confused in my head because I keep thinking Amazing Grace, because obviously I'm combining the two in my head.
People
Saving
have said
Grace,
it so many times. Yeah.
I can imagine people mess up with that all the time. You need to be I was listening to it yesterday, you need to be emotionally prepared for this EP.
I think to listen to any of my music, to be honest.
How do you find writing songs? Do you see it as an outlet? Or does it what's your process? How does it work for you?
Songwriting's definitely an outlet for me. I discovered it when I was 13 through my stepdad, who's a musician. And it was kind of a tool that he gave me to be able to talk about how I felt. I grew up with a single mum, and I had a lot of frustrations and anger to do with that. I didn't understand why I didn't have a dad around. And my stepdad just kind of gave me a guitar and was like, you need to talk about these things, get it off your chest. So that's all I've ever done. When it comes to songwriting, it's for me, it's a thing of something's going on in my life and I need to talk about it to get over it and feel better.
Yeah.
So yeah, all my music is pretty deep and emotional, but hopefully it's empowering and helps people feel better after listening to it.
And you seem like a really happy person.
I am. This is what people always say. They're like, what? Why are your songs so sad? You're so happy. And that's probably because I can talk about things and get it off my chest and move on, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, I am always smiling, which I need to just chill out a
Did
bit.
you have loads of little notebooks when you were younger, just full of songs?
Literally.
Have
It
you
was
still
so
got
funny
them?
you're saying that, actually, because my mum brought down all of my old notebooks to my flat the other day, and I was getting the train up to Manchester to see my god sister, and I took them all with me, and I was just reading through them, and I was like, I was such a deep child.
Oh, God.
The stuff I was reading, because it was
Yeah.
just like a little diary for me, and it was I wrote songs in it, but for me, my songs are kind of like diary entries.
Yeah.
And I was just reading it like, oh my goodness, at 13 years old, I was talking about that. Like, wow. But it's such a great tool to have. Like, not
Yeah.
many people have that outlet at that age, and I was very lucky to find it.
So how many notebooks do you reckon you've got of the kind of songs that you've written?
I have so many.
Okay. If
Like,
you had to
more
put a
recently,
number
I
on
write on my computer, but
Yeah.
as a kid, I had to write in blue pen. So all of my songs are written in blue pen in these notebooks, and I probably have about 8 of them.
Why did you have to write in blue pen?
It was just some weird thing. It was like my best songs are written with blue pen.
So-
or red. It was blue or red. So I don't know what that kind of represented, but none of my songs are written in black pen. It was really weird.
So does that apply to when you're writing it on the computer now? Is it in blue?
No. Actually, that's a good idea.
You have
Maybe
to
my
print it
songs
off
would
in
get a bit
blue.
better.
No, okay, great. I was like, is that written in blue? Is that written in red?
Yeah, no,
Oh,
but
that's
when-
definitely written in black. That's
Yeah, no. In my books, it was always coloured pens, but on the computer, it's just straight up Word, really.
Yeah, so you're saying you were going through them. Did you ever, because I remember with Why Her Not Me, I remember hearing an interview where you said you kind of sat on that song for a while. Was that kind of something where you dug it out a bit later and was like, actually, I want to work further on this? Do you have like unfinished ideas? Or
I definitely have unfinished ideas. I've been writing, I can't even do the maths. The reason I didn't go to university. Since I was 13, I can't work out what that is. And there are so many songs that I started when I was younger that I'd love to finish now. And like with a different perspective on the situation that I was writing about.
Yeah.
But with Why Her Not Me, I wrote that when I was 17 or 18. And we wrote it in 2 hours. It was completely finished. Like it was a very easy song to write because I knew exactly what I wanted to say. It was just a thing of when was the right time to share it with the world.
Yeah, of course.
And a couple of weeks ago felt like the right time. So yeah.
So have you got any more in the books that you are like, kind of like, okay, this one probably save that for a year? Is there any few kind of that you've banked up?
Yeah. I've written what hopefully will be my album when I was like 17 years old. So,
Oh, wow. That's
yeah.
really cool, though, because that's kind of like, I suppose to you, it seems like development because you would have written that. Because how old are you now?
I'm 21 now.
21 now. So there's kind of like 4 years of development. So I can imagine you're looking back on them now and thinking, okay, I'll change that bit to that bit.
Exactly. And just like I've grown up and I have different perspective on the situations I've been through. So I can
Yeah.
kind of look at it from a position where I'm not in it anymore.
Yeah, of course.
And kind of, yeah. But
Right. Yeah, we need to talk about Mike Dean.
yes.
Because obviously he produced on the track, it was Ashes.
Yeah.
He's worked with huge artists, Beyonce, Kanye. Were you in the studio with him? Or
Yes.
was it what's he like to work with?
I literally love that man so much. I was on tour with Dua Lipa in the UK at the time and I had 3 days off. And my manager was like, okay, so you're going to LA for your 3 days off. And I was like, oh, really? And then he said that I was working with Mike Dean and I was so excited because Kanye's early music is like sonically one of I'm mostly inspired by that. 808s and Heartbreak is like one of my favorite albums of all time.
Big
And
album.
yeah, it's such a good album. And yeah, he's so lovely. He's so chilled out. Like he had so many nice people around him and we just got on really, really well. And I love what he did to the track. Yeah, and like now when I go to LA, I'm gonna go hang out there because I just love him so much.
I was going to say when you were like, 3 days out, 3 days off, and you're like, oh, we're taking you to LA, and you're like, really? I was
And I've got, like,
I'd love to go to LA
No,
for 3
I know.
days.
But then like come back and like do a show as soon as I land. Like it
Yeah,
was
I
just a lot
suppose.
to think about. But in the end, it turned out amazingly, and we got an amazing song out of it. And
Yeah.
an amazing relationship there. So.
Have you been in the studio kind of with anybody else who you've just been, because obviously Mike Dean, massive.
Yeah.
Anybody else that you've kind of been just in awe by?
I work with like a really small group of people, probably like my collaborators. Like people don't really know who they are. They're called the 23rd, but they're literally the most incredibly talented people I've ever worked with.
Yeah.
So yeah, them. I'm just like, what? You can play the piano, you can play the drums, you can play the bass. Like what? They're just like so talented. So I just get excited like growing with people. I think that's
Of
the
course,
most
yeah.
like amazing thing for me is that I can work with amazing like massive people and people that have had lots of success, but I can also work with people that are on my level that are growing at the same time,
That's
and
the
we
thing,
can
is
create something
everyone's got to
together.
start somewhere. That's the
Exactly,
thing,
and
'cause-
like they'll be whoever in 5 years' time.
Did you say they're called the 23rd?
The 23rd,
So that's
yeah.
the thing in like, 10 years' time, I could be like speaking to somebody else and I'll be like, oh, so what's it like working with the 23rd?
Exactly.
It's true. That's actually a really interesting
You have to give
perspective.
everyone starts somewhere.
Yeah, of course. You mentioned that you were touring with Dua Lipa. You toured with Haim as well, loads more. Out of all of them, kind of, has anyone given you any kind of good advice? Is there anything that's kind of stuck out with you along the way?
To be honest, they all have.
Okay.
Like me and my band have been so lucky to tour with some amazing people, like in the sense that they're just lovely people. I'd say Dua's been really supportive of me. Like everything I've released since being on tour with her, she's supported and kind of shared, and she's great. She works so hard as well. She just kind of gets on with it. Haim, I was just in awe of them and just like their relationship that they have as sisters and the way that they treat people and talk to people around them. I just think they're great.
Yeah.
But like everyone has just been so nice. I think the main thing I've learned from all of them is just to like work hard and enjoy it.
And just be nice as well, because that's the thing I always find with a lot of the bigger artists, the ones who kind of have that longevity and who've been around for years, they're just nice.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with saying hello to people and looking them in the eye.
No, and does Dua Lipa always say hello and look people in the eye?
Of course she does.
Good, it's good to know that.
Yeah.
I saw a comment on one of your YouTube videos, which was amazing.
What was it? I was actually thinking about YouTube comments earlier. Some of them are just wild.
What's the weirdest thing you've seen on YouTube as a comment?
I've just seen,
obviously that you can say on the radio, because there's stuff that you definitely
There's definitely
can't.
stuff I can't say on the radio. What's the weirdest thing? I keep on seeing stuff about Jay-Z being my dad. Because we have the same surname, people just have this assumption that he's my dad.
Oh yeah, I didn't link the two.
Yeah, they're like, Jay-Z, Sean Carter, is he your dad? Like,
oh, so like there's a secret thing
yeah,
going on.
exactly. I think because him and Beyonce did a show in Cologne, and like on a massive billboard at the show at the arena, I was on the billboard for some I don't even know how that happened.
Yeah.
But I reckon everyone at the show was like, oh my God, is that Jay-Z and Beyonce's daughter?
Oh, of course, and then they released as the Carters.
Exactly.
And then Grace Carter
and Grace
comes
Carter
up
on a billboard. Do you know what I mean?
I kind of get like people love a conspiracy theory, and I kind
especially
of get
to do with
that.
Jay-Z, it's like all that stuff.
Especially because they've always got so much mystery like shrouding them. So,
yeah.
But you can confirm that Jay-Z
is not my dad.
Okay, we've
but
heard
that's
it
the
here
funniest
first.
thing I've read.
I read a comment which said Alicia Keys and Lana Del Rey's baby has been born.
I like that.
Are they kind of? Do you kind of see those as kind of influence? Because I can definitely hear that in your music.
I think Alicia Keys.
Yeah.
I love Lana. I think her new music that she just put out is amazing. But yeah, Alicia Keys for me was a massive inspiration growing up. Musically and also physically. Like I really identified with her when I saw her for the first time sitting at a piano singing her songs that she'd written.
Yeah.
I kind of saw a lot of myself in her at like 9 years old. So yeah, I think she's amazing. I'd love to work with her. She's like one of the people that I'd love to collaborate with.
I remember watching I think my first experience of Alicia Keys was when it was the MTV, I think it was the VMAs when she performed Empire State of Mind.
Oh my God, that
Do you remember that?
song.
And then did you ever see the live version of that? So
I don't
Jay-Z,
think I did.
That's if you're a big Alicia Keys fan, that was kind of the moment for me where I was like, actually, wow, this girl is amazing. I mean, that was years back in her career, and now she's just got stronger and stronger. But is she kind of like what you kind of want to aim towards, Alicia Keys style?
Definitely. I think she just has so much integrity as well, and she just like is. She's so honest as an artist, and she writes about things that are honest and like real to her.
Yeah.
And she's a musician as well, which is like a massive thing for me. Is like I make all of my own music. So yeah, definitely, I love her, and I loved that collaboration she did with Jay-Z.
Yeah,
that was just like
a big track.
That was a massive track.
Yeah, we touched on Why Her Not Me earlier. It's such a powerful song. We played it on the show. I think it was about a week ago now. Have you had people kind of reach out to you, because that's a very sort of personal song, and it's the sort of song that I can imagine you'll get messages on Twitter, you'll get messages on Facebook.
Yeah,
Has that happened?
It's been overwhelming, to be honest. It's been like in an amazing way. But yeah, I kind of like, for me, that song means something, and I put it out, and I wanted to be honest about it because I wanted people to get to know me a bit more and know where I was coming from. But like the responses to it have been absolutely amazing, like just crazy. And it's just nice when you're going through, the song's about my dad and him picking another life over bringing me up, and as a kid you kind of just think you're the only one in that situation and that no one can relate, and then putting the song out and seeing how many people have been through the same thing, it's just so, I just feel like a whole bunch of people have just come together to support each other in it. Yeah. Which is amazing.
And the track, as I said, it's so powerful. It sounds so good. It's the perfect time to hit play on it. Thank you so much for coming to see us.
Thank you.
And can I get you to introduce the track on KMFM, please?
Of course. Hi, I'm Grace Carter, and this is Why Her Not Me.